just get right into it today because we are joined by the one and only Anna Ortiz.
What's up? I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. What is going on? Let's just get right into it. Goosebumps, The Vanishing, it premiered earlier this month on Disney Plus and Hulu. How are you? How's it going? I mean, I grew up reading these books by R.L. Stine, and I mean, what drew you to this wonderful project?
I mean, what didn't? First of all, I get to shoot in New York. I'm a born and raised New Yorker, so anytime I get to work at home is like, yes, please. David Schwimmer, I mean, I was like, yeah, okay. And I think just getting to spend the summer in New York working for me was enough of it. But then, here my kids, they read, that was kind of what got them to read was Goosebumps. So and this is like the one project that I could do that they actually are into, like, you know what I mean? They're super into it. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I was so excited.
Were you aware of like the power of Goosebumps like from your kids? Like, because people love these books.
I was not to, I mean, I have to be honest, like I'm actually so pleasantly shocked because so many fans are like, oh my God, I love Goosebumps. I can't believe you're doing Goosebumps. It's so exciting. I know my kids really liked it and they were, that's like they loved the books, but I had no idea of like the fandom behind it. So that was really very cool.
And it's what do you think the appeal is? Because I've watched most of what's out, or it's not just for kids. Let me just
Oh,
say, like, what do you think it is that people just love this series and love Goosebumps?
I think people like being scared. And I think especially with this specific series, there is the thing about Goosebumps is that it is a little bit cheeky and a little bit there is a little like camp to it. You know what I mean? Like, there's comedy, there's also like a romance, there's sort of, there's action and monsters and all of that stuff too. But there's and then you have like New York has that like sort of cachet to it. But I think that appeals to it. There is it's not just like your straightforward horror. There's like really funny moments. And I think, that's where David Schwimmer really shines is that he can sort of take anything and really like give it some depth and give it some humanity. And it's always sort of fun to watch that.
He really could. I mean, it is cheeky and it is lighthearted. Like, right, even in scary scenes, as I was watching it, I was like, David Schwimmer is just so funny in like the
Yes.
best way possible.
Yes, exactly. It's because it's so grounded in reality. He's such a theater kid and he takes everything so seriously. And I think life is funny. I mean, I don't know about you, but like I walk around in my life and even when I'm pissed off, like even I'm mad at my kids, they'll do something that will make me laugh. And I'll be like, I'm laughing, but I'm really mad, And I think that like his humanity really comes through in every character he does, but really in this one, because you get to see him be a parent.
Did you learn anything from David Schwimmer in particular in working? I mean, you have so many scenes with him.
I know. Yeah, I think uh, well, it's not that I learned, but I really like we're both like theater kids, like I said, and I really learned, I guess, that like for rehearsal is so important. It makes such a difference in a scene. And I was really lucky that like he's that guy that wants to like run the scene and rehearse it and go through it and like change beats or figure out beats. And that is really exciting because a lot of times in TV you don't, like people just walk on, do the scene and it's done. So that was really fun. And I also learned that he's really terrified of being in a car with me. Because I had to do some stunt driving, and I think he really thought I was gonna drive him into the East River at one point.
Is this because you're from? I'm actually from New York. I'm in LA at the moment, but I'm a
Yes.
New Yorker. It's like we're just, I mean,
I
I
didn't get
actually
my
don't.
license till I was 23. I was like, sorry, and I had to do stunt driving, and I was like, look, for better or worse, hon, we're in it together. If we go in, we go in.
And David Schwimmer was like, please not today. Please, let's not have a driving scene
Yeah,
together.
exactly. He's like, not today, girl, no.
Did you do so? You play Jen. She's a cop. She is a New York cop. Did you do anything in particular to prepare for this role of playing a cop?
Well, and you know, the thing is that as a Puerto Rican mother from New York, we just are detectives. It just comes naturally. Like you just ask anybody, like Puerto Rican women, just look, maybe all Latin women, I don't know, but we have a natural detective about us. So I didn't have to do that much prepping, but I also will say, you know, I think I've been around enough cops, like I have cops in my family. So, you know what I mean? Like, so that was, you know, a really fun thing for me to play. And believe me, my cousins would definitely have words if I was not playing it right.
If you didn't play her right.
That's right.
What was it about horror? Because you have done so much TV and film before this. Like, did you love, this is kind of your first foray into the horror genre. Like, did you love horror?
I love it. I mean, look, if I'm honest, like watching horror is not my jam because I'm such a scaredy cat, but my kids are obsessed with horror. My husband loves horror, like really, really scary stuff. And so they'll make me watch it every now and again. And it just, but I'm also very loud. I think that's why they like to watch it with me because I'm like, just be screaming in theater and like shouting at the movie screen. And it's an embarrassment, really. But look, you know what you're getting when you go with me. But I think also Latinos are like, we're the biggest audience for horror. And I don't think we're really, you know, repped in it enough. And so for me, it was super exciting to be able to be like in it, like, and not, you know, be murdered in the first scene. Like, you know, so I think for us to, you know, since we are such purveyors of the genre, like to actually be a participant in it now, hopefully that like keeps rolling. But I also love like all the special effects and having to like, you know, pretend there was a monster chasing us or, you know, like scream a lot and all of that stuff is really it's like being a kid again and playing, you know, like, you know, you really have to throw yourself in. That's another thing I actually will say from that David was really full on full on committed, really in it. Like nobody could fake because he led by example. Like you like no time to be embarrassed, no time to like, oh my God, do I look silly? It just wasn't because he was, you know, full in. And I think it was a great way to sort of lead by example.
Were you a huge Friends fan like before
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, 100%. Not only was I a Friends fan like when it came up, but my daughter then went through her Friends phase. And so we all watched it, you know, I watched it with her again, you know, sort of all through it. And it was really fun to sort of relive it. That's the one thing that that show really has is that it just will live on because it's so sort of timeless and funny and it was such a great cast.
Absolutely. Do you get nervous? I'm not, maybe this applies to David Schwimmer, but do you get nervous like you've been in this business so long, either to like work with a certain actor or actress like you may really admire prior, or is it all, I mean, you've done so much and you've worked opposite so many people.
Oh my God, I get so nervous. I get so, like, I'm such a fangirl. Like, I will just gush and embarrass myself. I get so flippin' nervous when I meet like someone that I love, or that I admire, or, you know, that I've been watching forever. Luckily, in my experience, everyone has been so cool and, you know, I think if you're like David Schwimmer, you get that all the time. So he knows how to handle it. And he does so with such grace. And a lot of times, you know, you're surprised because somebody will be a big fan of like Ugly Betty. And it's like somebody who's iconic that you can't believe it's like, oh my God, but I love Ugly Betty. And you're like, what? Shut up. You can't what? No, that's impossible. So you know, when you're around long enough, sometimes that also, you know, because like I said, these people have been so cool that they'll just sort of turn it off of themselves. Like I think they know that they are intimidating, so they sort of try to break